Hello there, folks. Welcome to a fascinating journey into the world of finance and law. Tonight, we're diving into the thrilling world of negotiable instruments. Don't touch that dial. You might think this topic is dry, but trust me, it's more gripping than a mystery novel. It's more exciting than it sounds, I promise. Negotiable instruments are the backbone of many financial transactions, and understanding them can be quite empowering. Specifically, we're talking about what happens when those little slips of paper, we call checks, decide to bounce higher than a kangaroo on a trampoline. Yes, we're talking about bouncing checks. Now, India, being the land of spices and apparently a whole lot of checks, has a special law to deal with this. Section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act. This law is crucial for maintaining trust in financial transactions. It's like the bouncer of the banking world ready to step in when a check tries to sneak past without enough funds. Imagine a vigilant guardian ensuring that every check is backed by sufficient funds. Over the next few minutes, we'll break down this section in a way that even a hamster could understand. We'll simplify the legal jargon and make it accessible for everyone. We'll explore what it is, why it exists, and how it can save your bacon if you're ever on the receiving end of a rubber check. Understanding this can help you navigate financial pitfalls and protect your interests. So buckle up, Buttercup, because things are about to get legal. We'll delve into the intricacies of Section 138, its implications and real-life scenarios where it comes into play. By the end of this, you'll have a solid grasp of how this law functions and why it's so important. Section 138 is not just a legal provision, it's a safeguard for the financial ecosystem. It ensures that people think twice before issuing a check without sufficient funds, thereby promoting financial discipline. So whether you're a business owner, a professional, or just someone who uses checks, understanding Section 138 can be incredibly beneficial. It empowers you to take informed actions and seek legal recourse if needed. Stay tuned as we unravel the layers of this fascinating law, and by the end, you'll be well equipped to handle any check-related issues with confidence and knowledge. Let's get started. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of Section 138, let's take a step back and define what we mean by negotiable instrument. It sounds like something out of a Jane Austen novel, doesn't it? He presented her with a negotiable instrument, hoping to win her affections. In reality, it's a lot less romantic. A negotiable instrument is basically a document that promises payment. Think of it as an IOU, but with a bit more legal weight. The most common example, you guessed it, the trustee check. Of course, there are other types of negotiable instruments too, like promissory notes and bills of exchange, but for our purposes today, we'll be focusing on the mighty check, because nothing says legal drama like a check that's gone rogue. Now imagine this, you're eagerly awaiting a payment. You've been checking your mailbox or your bank account every day, hoping to see that long-anticipated check. Maybe it's for a service you provided, a loan you gave to a friend in need, or perhaps it's a payment for a freelance project you completed. Or maybe, just maybe, it's for that vintage rubber ducky collection you finally managed to sell online after months of trying. The check arrives and you do a little dance of joy. You feel a sense of relief and excitement, thinking about how you'll use that money. But then you try to cash it and bam, it bounces. Your heart sinks and you're left feeling frustrated and betrayed. That's where Section 138 swoops in like a financial superhero, or maybe a slightly uptight accountant in a cape. This section is your ally in the world of financial transactions. This section of the Negotiable Instruments Act is basically India's way of saying, hey, issuing a check without sufficient funds isn't just bad manners, it's a criminal offense. It's a serious matter that the law takes very seriously. This law is designed to protect folks like you from getting cheated out of your hard-earned money. It provides a legal recourse to ensure that you are not left in the lurch. It ensures that when someone gives you a check, they're actually good for it. The law mandates that the issuer of the check must have sufficient funds in their account to cover the amount. Think of it as a safety net for anyone who's ever had to deal with the disappointment and, let's be honest, rage of a bounced check. It's a way to hold people accountable and maintain trust in financial transactions. So the next time you receive a check, you can have a bit more peace of mind knowing that there's a legal framework in place to protect you. And if you ever find yourself on the receiving end of a bounce check, remember that you have the right to take legal action. Consult with a lawyer to understand your options and ensure that justice is served. Educating yourself about financial laws like Section 138 can empower you to navigate the complexities of financial transactions with confidence. In the end, it's all about ensuring that your hard work and trust are respected. So keep that smile on your face and know that the law has got your back. Section 4, decoding dishonor, why your check might bounce. So we've established that bouncing a check is a big no-no, but what exactly constitutes dishonor of a check? Well, according to Section 138, a check can be dishonored for two main reasons. First, insufficient funds. This one's pretty self-explanatory. It means the check writer simply doesn't have enough money in their account to cover the amount on the check. Oops. Second, exceeding arrangement. This happens when the check writer tries to cash a check for an amount higher than what they've previously agreed upon with their bank. It's like trying to sneak an extra large popcorn into the movies. It's not going to fly. In either case, if the bank returns your check with a big fat dishonored stamp on it, it's time to start thinking about Section 138 and what options you have. Section 5. Time is of the essence, the 30-day window for legal notice. Now, let's say you've received a lovely piece of dishonored check art. What's next? Well, you can't just march over to the nearest courthouse and yell, "Off with their head." Tempting, I know, but not quite the right approach. The first step is sending a legal notice to the check issuer. This is basically a fancy way of saying, "Hey buddy, remember that check you wrote me? Yeah, it bounced. You've got 15 days to pay up or I'm taking you to court." This notice has to be sent within 30 days of the date you received the bounced check. Think of it as a friendly, well, semi-friendly warning shot before you unleash the full legal artillery. Section 6, taking legal action, a step-by-step guide through the courtroom maze. Navigating the legal system can be daunting, but with the right guidance, you can make it through unscathed. If the check issuer still hasn't coughed up the dough within 15 days of receiving the legal notice, it's time to take them to court. This step is crucial because it shows that you are serious about recovering your money and are willing to take legal action if necessary. Don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. The legal system is designed to be fair and just, and there are many resources available to help you through the process. Think of it as a slightly more formal episode of Judge Judy, but with higher stakes. The courtroom is a place where justice is served, and you have the opportunity to present your case in a structured and orderly manner. Here's a simplified breakdown of the process. First, file a complaint. This is the initial step where you formally bring your issue to the court's attention. You'll need to file a complaint with the court outlining the details of the bounced check and the steps you've taken so far. This document should include all relevant information such as the date the check was issued, the amount, and any communication you've had with the issuer. Second, court appearance. Both you and the check issuer will have to appear in court to present your sides of the story. This is your chance to explain the situation in detail and provide any evidence you have to support your claim. This is where you channel your inner lawyer and make your case. Be prepared to answer questions from the judge and the opposing party. Third, judgment and penalty. If the court finds in your favor, fingers crossed, they'll issue a judgment against the check issuer. This judgment is a formal decision by the court that the check issuer is legally obligated to pay you the amount owed. This can include paying the original check amount plus interest and penalties, or even facing imprisonment. The penalties are designed to ensure that the check issuer takes their financial obligations seriously and to deter them from issuing bad checks in the future. Remember, the legal process can be lengthy and complex, but with patience and persistence, you can navigate the courtroom maze and achieve a fair outcome. Section 7. Facing the music, penalties for check dishonor. Now let's talk consequences, shall we? Dishonoring a check under Section 138 isn't just a slap on the wrist. It can lead to some pretty serious penalties, including imprisonment. Yep, you read that right. Bouncing a check in India can actually land you in jail for up to 2 years. Now that's some serious motivation to keep your finances in check, pun intended. Fine. On top of possible jail time, the court can also impose a hefty fine on the guilty party. This fine can be up to twice the amount of the bounced check. Ouch! Criminal record. As if jail time and a fine weren't enough, a conviction under Section 138 also leaves you with a criminal record. And let's be honest, nobody wants that on their resume.